What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about all the costs that go into creating a dropshipping store, because you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, you can start with no money, or oh, you need a ton of money for advertising to start. And really, it really depends on what you're doing, what type of store you're creating. Now, I am a little bit newer in the dropshipping space, but I am still creating my store and building it up. So I want to share with you what my current expenses look like so far, and which ones you'll encounter and which ones you may not have to deal with. So obviously the very first thing is going to be Shopify. You need to buy Shopify. It's a monthly fee to sell on their website. The plan I chose is $33.99. That's one of the cheapest ones, and you can deactivate your store if it's not up yet, and I believe it's $10 or $12. Don't quote me on that. And the way I kind of laid this whole sheet out for you guys is in kind of different categories. So I have things that are necessary, which the only thing is Shopify. We have the cost. Is it monthly? Is it a one-time fee? Is it yearly? What is it? And is it something you can do yourself if you need to? And if it is, what does it cost? So if I go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to create a logo, well, yeah, I could get someone on Fiverr or something to do that, maybe $30, or I could go create it myself. So I put both options in there so you guys can see if that is something you can do or want to save money, then what things can you do that with? So necessity, Shopify. Costs monthly to sell on Shopify. Other than that, that's the only thing you actually need. However, there are things you are going to want to have. The things I put that you should have. I use one app just to kind of keep track of everything, make it very neat. It's an accounting tool. Track all your inventory and whatnot. It's called Simply Cost. That is the only thing I use. It is $4.99 a month. Next, you're going to want to buy a website, or at least your domain if you're not buying hosting. I use a website called HostGator. To get it all, I'll leave a link to that in the description. But it's $9.14 a month with hosting for my website for an entire year. So $9 a month. Do you need to claim your website and your URL? No, but if you're creating a real business, I highly recommend it. Next is going to be the logo for your business, like I was saying, $30, or this is something you can do yourself and it will cost you $0. You can use a website like Canva. There's a couple free Photoshop alternatives online. I think GIMP is one of them. Now, next is your LLC. Now, this is going to vary based off what state you're in. I know for Delaware, if you create an LLC, it's like $200. California is more expensive. So if you wanted to create an LLC through a website like LegalZoom, where they do it all for you if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to cost you probably $200 to $400 or $500. However, you can file all the paperwork, print it out, fill it out, and do it online. It does take longer. You probably will make a mistake or two and have to deal with that and get more papers, fill them out again. But it costs about $80. I have done it myself once. For me, it was worth saving the time because it's such a headache to have to deal with it and communicate with them, and it takes way longer. So you do not have to have that. And lastly is going to be theme design. So the overall theme of your website, on Shopify, you can choose a bunch of different ones. They have a bunch of free themes, so this is not necessary, but I wanted one that was paid. Mine was $62. It just looks very clean, how it's all laid out, and it's very easy to edit. So I went ahead and did that, or you can just use one of their free themes, so $0. So our total there is going to be $511.13, with about $15 of that being monthly and the rest being a one-time fee. So right now we're at about $49 recurring monthly and about $500 one time. Now again, none of these are absolutely necessary. Now, if you're gonna go more advanced, I put this in just more so of what I've been doing. So my store will have some clothing. It's also gonna be other stuff as well. So I did have to order shirt samples. I want to see what the best quality material was, and I did that through a website called T-Shirt Wholesaler. I got all the shirts for about $3 or $4 a piece. It was very cheap, so that cost me $180 about. If you want, there's a lot more apps that I use and that make it way easier to save you time. But again, if money's on the line, you don't need to. I spend about $45 a month on that, and an Amazon subscription. So I want to sell on Amazon and Shopify. Do both, get more sales that way. So Amazon is $39.99 a month to sell on. And finally, shirt designs. So my shirt designs are about $200 a piece, and I've done about 20 so far. And I'll show you an example of one. Actually, I have it right here. To get high quality shirt designs, I used 99 Designs, which is a website, And this is kind of a basic one. I think this one was like 150, but they're completely original type designs like this to put on print-on-demand clothing. So if you're not going to do print-on-demand, that type of clothing, then you don't even have to look at the shirt samples or the shirt design. You could go in and make these designs yourself, but it would probably take a ton of time and is not worth it. Or you could go with a lower quality designer. Again, it's going to be dependent on what your budget is and what your goals are and what you want to do. And lastly, the biggest question, which will vary, there is no straight up answer for this, is marketing. Do you need to run ads to sell on Shopify? Well, it helps a ton, but is it necessary? Not by any means. If you know how to grow an Instagram or a Facebook page or an email list, you can do that completely free. Grow your Instagram if you know how to, and use that to push traffic to your Shopify. But if you're not good at that, you're not planning on doing that, you're going to need to run something to get traffic to your Shopify store. So Facebook ads, I think you can start with about $200. Now, you may need to spend more than $200 in the long run. This is a monthly cost, but I think if you're spending $200 a month on ads and you're optimizing them and seeing it, you will make a decent chunk of money back and you'll have that to reinvest into ads. Also, you can use influencers if you want. It's a lot cheaper. If they're shouting out your product, doing kind of a story ad on Instagram or something, it's relatively cheap for how many impressions you're really getting compared to Facebook ads, especially if you're not familiar with them. Influencers are a lot easier. So honestly, I put $300, but you don't even have to spend that a month. Obviously, if you know what you're doing, you're going to want to spend as much as you can so you can get the biggest return. But if you're just starting out, I think if you have $100, $200 to spend, that should be fine on ads. But again, it's going to be something that's recurring. You're going to have to put it in month after month, but your ads should be profitable after a month or two once you optimize them. So in total, I put if you're not lazy and if you're lazy. So if you're not lazy, you're going to do everything you can yourself, like we put up here. Can you do it yourself? Yes. If you're going to do all of that, so I excluded the advanced on this section. If you're going to do it yourself, your total is going to be, you're going to be paying $80 one time, which is going to go to the LLC when you're doing all the paperwork. Logo, you're going to make yourself. The theme, you're just going to use a free theme. Marketing, you're just going to do social media. But you will have the $5 app. Let's say you're going to get your website for $9 a month and Shopify is $34 a month. So you're going to pay $80 one time and then $48 a month after that. And that is, in my opinion, the cheapest you can start and should start Shopify with. If you have less than that, don't go into it. I'd say if you have $200, $300, go for it. If you're lazy and you're going to outsource a lot of the stuff and not do it yourself, you're looking at a one-time total of $497 and then $350 a month, with the majority being marketing. So for me, my costs will be different than yours maybe because I am doing the designs, which is a majority of my costs. I think I've spent about $4,000 so far on my Shopify store, and I think $3,300 of that is in the designs, which hopefully they come around long term and start making that profit, because I have not started actually selling yet. So this may update. I might use different tools or have to use other fees or start outsourcing or building a team, but that's going to be more advanced. But the bare bones minimum, I think you should start with, again, $80 one time. And then honestly, you don't have to have the website or app, but Shopify, you need $34 a month. So I'd say if you have $200, $300, go ahead. Shopify might be something you can start. Now, it is more difficult than Amazon, in my opinion, because you do have to know how to get traffic there. If you don't know how to run Facebook ads, that's going to be something you're going to have to learn, or just any way to get traffic, whether it's growing a social media, using influencers, Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube, whatever it is, you have to get traffic there somehow. Whether it's free or paid, you have to be able to do that. If you can't, then Shopify is very, very difficult, which is why sometimes I prefer Amazon. They both have their pluses though. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next video.